guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Bethany. I'm the girl behind Well Love Knits, and in this video I wanted to share a quick tutorial with you guys that will hopefully be very handy for my next upcoming pattern. So if you've been here for a while, you might notice what I'm wearing looks a little familiar, but different because it has sleeves. It's my retro v-neck vest that I have recently frogged the armbands and just pulled back and re-knit the sleeves, which I think turned out so nice. I really love the way that the sweater looks. This nice tapered sleeve works really well with that big opening that I had for the v-neck vest. And yeah, I'm really excited to bring a pattern to you guys for both the sweater and the vest. But before we get into that, let's get into the tutorial and then I'll give you more details about how you can help me test out this new pattern. So for this tutorial today, I'm going to show you guys how to work a stretchy bind off for the sleeves in 2x2 rib. There are a lot of tutorials on tubular bind off for 1x1 rib, but this one here features nice 2x2 rib throughout, so this would be handy for the sleeves as well as the body. I personally wouldn't recommend it for the collar because we still want it to you don't want your v-neck collar too loose, so for the sleeves and the body, this would be perfect. So without further ado, let's get into it. To work this stretchy bind off, you will need to have your stitches live on the needles and to cut your working yarn at least 3 times the circumference of what you'd like to bind off. Simply thread the working yarn through a needle and you're ready to begin. I have this little diagram here to explain a few things before we get started. In this tutorial, I will share with you the steps to cast off the first 4 stitches, 2 knit stitches, and 2 purl stitches on your needle. I will refer to these steps as a sequence. You will repeat this sequence as many times as needed to cast off all stitches in the round. So here I am at the beginning of my round. It's really key with this to pay attention to the knit and purl sequence that you have. So I'm going to teach you how to do the stretchy bind off, and it's going to be in sequences. So one sequence will cast off the 2 knits and 2 purls that are closest to the edge of your needle. And then you will continue the sequence all the way around until the very end, where you can then have all of the stitches cast off the needle. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is do a couple of setup stitches to begin working our sequence. And in this case, we're going to be paying attention to the first 4 stitches on the needle, so the 2 knit stitches and the 2 purl stitches. The first setup step that we need to do is insert our needle purlwise through the first knit stitch. Then, with our needle at the back of the work, insert your needle between the 2nd and 3rd stitches. It might help you to just peek. Insert it, making sure you're not puncturing any of the yarn. And then insert the needle back through the 3rd stitch knitwise. So that first purl stitch, you're going to knit through. Whether you're working in the round or working flat, you just need to do those 2 setup stitches and then you're ready for the sequence. And the sequence is as follows: knit, slip, purl, purl, knit. Knit, slip, purl, slip, purl, slip, knit. So the first thing that we need to do is insert our needle knitwise and slip it off. And purl into that 2nd knit stitch. We're going to purl again through the first purl stitch and knitting through that last purl stitch. So we've worked through all 4 stitches, one of them has been slid off. Then we're going to take our needle, knit, slip, purl the next knit stitch, slip, purl the 2nd purl stitch and slip it off the needles, and then come back to the 2nd sequence and knit through the first purl stitch. So we have worked the first 4 stitches of the round and they are now off the needles. And we're going to focus on these next 4 stitches, the 2 knits and the 2 purls. In the last sequence, we already set up this round with that purl through the first knit stitch and the knit through the first purl stitch. So we're ready to go. So again, knit, slip, purl, purl, knit. Knit, slip, purl the next knit stitch on the next sequence, slip, first purl stitch, purl, slip that last purl stitch, and then insert your needle through the back to knit the first purl stitch of the next sequence. And we're really casting some off now, so you can see this is how it's looking so far. So let's keep going. So when you have 2 stitches left, we don't have another sequence to purl through that next knit stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find this right here and I'm just going to go purlwise to kind of connect the beginning and the end of the round. And slip that stitch off. And then purl, slip off the needles, and pull through. And then, you know what? I'm gonna go in and weave my ends inside. So what you can do then is maybe insert your needle through there and then weave your ends on the inside. And now you have a nicely bound off, stretchy, bind off for your 2x2 ribbed knit. So again, you can do this for sleeve cuffs, for the body of a sweater. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for the V-neck, just because you don't want it to be too stretchy, because then it will gape a little bit. So here I just did a regular bind off for my V-neck, and that keeps everything together just fine. But for places where you need a little extra stretch, this bind off technique is perfect. Yes, so about the sweater patterns. So I'm calling this pattern the Retro V-neck Sweater Vest. It's going to be a 2-in-1 pattern. You have options to knit both the vest as well as add-on sleeves for this nice sweater as well. So if you really loved the sweater vest version, no worries, you'll also be able to knit that up if that's more your thing. And then if you love the sweater version, you can also add on some sleeves to that same body. So I'm really excited about this pattern. I would really love you guys to help test it out. If you're interested, definitely check out the link in the description. I've linked a Google form that you can fill out to apply to test, and in the next couple of days I'll be checking the results from that and selecting some testers to knit up the sweater and sweater vest versions. So a little bit about the sweater and what you can expect. The body is knit with 5mm needles and the sleeves and collar are knit with 4.5. It's knit from the top down. It's essentially a seamless sweater. It's not a raglan style knit. It definitely has panels, but it is seamless and you just pick up and keep going as you work. There is some back and forth knitting required, and you need to know how to make increases comfortably and decreases as well. But in no means do I think that this is a very advanced pattern. I think advanced beginners, adventurous beginners would be able to also knit this no problem. As far as testers go, I'm looking for a range of experience, so if you're a beginner, don't hesitate to apply, but I am also looking for more advanced knitters who might be able to help with some of their expertise as well. I hope you guys are excited about it because I know a lot of you have been asking me about the sweater vest pattern if I was going to release one. So the answer is yes, it's going to be, again, a 2-in-1 pattern, and I hope that versatility will be very helpful and handy, and you'll be able to get more than just one use out of the pattern. You can make multiple garments, which is pretty cool. Something that I'm really excited about bringing to life. If you guys have any questions about the pattern, definitely leave me a comment in the comments section below. I'll be answering as many as I can, and more information will be provided on the Google form if you choose to fill it out. So thank you guys so much for your support, for your enthusiasm on the sweater vest, and I hope you also really love this sweater too. Yeah, I'm really over the moon with how this turned out, and I hope you guys are excited about it too. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys being here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!